I already know someone's immediately saying, where's Zombieland? Where's Zombieland? You're not talking about Zombieland in this video? What the heck? What? Hey you. I love Zombieland. At one point in time, it was in fact my favorite movie, and honestly, I don't know why it's not here. I don't know why I'm not talking about it in this video. Honestly, I'll admit it, maybe that's a bit of a misjudgment on my part, but I digress. Anyway though, in honor of Bugonia coming out soon, slash is probably already out for you, slash I haven't seen it yet. Personally, when I'm filming this video, I have not seen it yet, so it's coming soon for me personally, but by the time this video's out, it might already be out for some people, whatever. In honor of Bugonia, I am revisiting the highlights of Emma Stone's filmography, baby. 5 movies, let's go. Cue the intro.
Hey, how y'all doing?
So first up on the list is Superbad, aka her film debut, and honestly, I had never even seen that movie. I'd never seen this movie. I've heard of it. Of course I've heard of it, but I'd never seen this movie before finding out that she's in this movie and finding out that this was her first movie ever. She was in some other stuff before that, according to IMDb. She was in like some TV, whatever, but this is her first movie that she's in, so obviously we had to watch it. But spoiler alert, she's barely in this movie. Woo! So this movie follows 2 friends, Evan and Seth, who are about to graduate high school and they're trying to lose their virginity before college. They get invited to a party by Emma Stone's character, and the whole movie is essentially them trying to get to the party and bring alcohol to the party so that they look cool in front of the girls they like. But there's a lot of issues and freaky situations that ensue on their journey there. Superbad is a movie for the boys. It's a movie for the boys, and I fully understand that. I fully get that. I fully get that this movie isn't meant for my target demographic. Woman, girl, whatever. It's not meant for me. I get that. However, even though it's a boy movie, it surprisingly didn't feel completely isolating, if that makes sense. Like, it didn't feel weird watching this movie as a girl with all of like the boy-centered jokes that are in it. And by that I mean I wasn't like rolling my eyes every time a joke was said, which I slightly worried would happen because I knew this is like a movie for the boys and like I'm a girl, so some of the jokes I'm just gonna roll my eyes at because this is like such a boy misogynistic, blah blah blah, pervy type jokes. Of course we had that, but we didn't have it to like the degree that it's like eye-rolling, if that makes sense. Honestly, I'm just a physical comedy girl at the end of the day. Like, it's a classic trope for a reason. It's fun, it's funny, and this movie had its fair share of physical comedy that did have me giggling and hee-hee and ha-ha-ing a lot. My cat's just in and out. He's never been this active while I've been filming, so this is really crazy. Where was I? Physical comedy. This movie had a fair amount of it. I liked it. Let's insert a quick little comp of that. Hopefully I can. Copyright, please don't kill me.
Maybe.
What the fuck? Help me.
And now my cat has jumped in the window and is blocking the light. That's awesome. That's awesome. We're gonna have some lighting changes. Sorry about it. He just does whatever he wants. Now here are some specific things that I must mention about this movie. First up, Fogel's like little random bromance, bestie ship that happens between him and the 2 cops was kind of sweet and also stupidly funny, and I loved it so much. Actually, surprisingly, it was very weird and like unexpected. I love unexpected like friendships that happen in movies, or like unexpected like pairings and duos, whatever. Like, this was the epitome of that. So unexpected, so weird, so crazy, but also so perfect. Somehow it worked perfectly, and I like that a lot. And also, just in case you haven't seen the movie, Fogel is Evan and Seth's other friend. They get like separated during this like journey of them trying to get to the party. They get separated from him, and he starts hanging out with the cops, and etc, etc. Cat jumped down from window, lighting exchange once again. Sorry about it. And the second thing I need to quickly talk about is the I love you scene with Evan and Seth at the end of the movie. Like, that scene, I loved it so much. I loved it so much. And I'm gonna try to insert it here. Please don't beat me to death, copyright, because I need the masses in the world to see this scene right now.
I love you. I love you, man.
I love you. I love you. I'm not even embarrassed to say it. I love you.
I'm not embarrassed.
Love you.
I love you. It's like, why don't we say that every day? Why can't we say it more often?
I just love you. I just want to go to the rooftops and scream, I love my best friend Evan.
We should go up on my roof.
For sure.
So yeah, that scene was super sweet. We need to start saying I love you to the boys more, to the homies. I love you. I love you. I want to scream it from the rooftop. I want to go on my roof and shout it and yell it and scream it. I love you. Like, yes, that's so cute. That's so cute. So sweet. Ugh, I love it. The one gripe that I do have with this movie is that it's quite long for a comedy movie, especially the kind of comedy movie that is like taking place over one night / like over a certain set of hours. Like, it's quite long for a comedy movie like that, and also just quite long for a comedy movie in general. Like, it's almost 2 hours. I think it's like 150, and usually a comedy movie is like 130, ish, you know, around that like area. So this was quite long. And honestly, it got to the point where we just were doing things just to do them. Like literally the whole like period blood scene slash just literally that whole party that they go to that they accidentally end up going to with all like the 20-year-olds, question mark, were they 20-year-olds? I don't know, but those people were definitely just like generally like older than them, and that was a really freaky situation, and we didn't have to do that. That was like, come on girl, we're doing a bit too much here. We didn't need to do all that. So yeah, the one gripe I have with this movie is that it is a bit too long. If they just cut out that thing, perfect to me. Honestly, kind of a perfect movie to me. If they just cut out that whole thing. We didn't need that. That would have cut out like 15 minutes, and then we would have just ended up at Emma's party and blah, 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 and whatever. If you haven't seen this movie, I'm saying nonsense to you, but that's okay. Let's just move on because it doesn't even matter. Actually, it doesn't even matter. Anyway though, switching gears completely, learning the lore behind this movie was actually quite wholesome to me. So essentially, Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, the writers of this movie, they're childhood best friends, and they wrote the script for this movie during their teenage years, and it's loosely based off their time as seniors at their school before like they graduated. Finding out that info was just so sweet to me, and also knowing that they still work together on things to this day. Cough cough the studio, cough cough, which just won a bunch of Emmys, hashtag well-deserved Emmys, cough cough. That's really sweet to me. That's really sweet to me. Friends making movies together or just making stuff, TV shows, whatever, like friends making stuff together, creative stuff together is so awesome and like such good vibes to me personally. Like it's just so sweet. I love watching a movie that friends made, and you can tell like friends made it. You could tell they had a fun time on set. You could just tell it was such like a good vibe, whatever. I love that. It's so sweet to me. But I will say that I will personally stick with the girl version, kinda-ish girl version of this movie, aka Booksmart. Love me some Caitlin Dever, love me some Beanie Feldstein. That movie's just an overall good time for me. And it's basically kind of the same vibe as this, like a movie that takes place over a certain set of hours. They're graduating high school, they're two best friends that are kind of like losers-ish in high school, whatever. Different side of the same coin. One side's boy, one side's girl. But I will say that I did love Emma in this. She was simply just a girl. Not even like manic pixie dream girl or like hot girl with no personality. Like she was pretty much just a normal girl throughout this movie, and she was a funny normal girl too. Like she had some funny hee hee ha ha moments. I love that as well. And yeah, she was just pretty normal in this, and I kind of like that. And honestly, she was my favorite part about this movie. Literally when she gets headbutted in the face by him, I hope I was able to insert that in the physical comedy portion of this video. Literally hilarious. I love that. And yes, I'll just say it again, she was my favorite part about this movie, and maybe that's the Emma Stone bias, but I don't care. I don't care. Thank you. Easy yay, easy yay, easy yay. Wow! I'm like 95% sure that Easy A was in fact the first Emma Stone movie I ever saw. It was either that or Zombieland. Once again, sorry guys. I'm sorry that Zombieland isn't in this video. But I do think one of those two were the first ones, and I'm gonna say Easy A because I know Easy A came out before Zombieland, and I think I pretty much watched this movie like generally when it first came out. Actually, I don't think that's true. I definitely did not see this movie in theaters. I was 9 years old in 2010 when this movie came out. But I definitely saw it when it hit cable. Anyway though, I don't know. The timeline's getting messy in my head, and actually it literally doesn't even matter. Let's just talk about Easy A. Here we go. So for the few people that haven't seen this movie, because I feel like everybody has had to simply seen Easy A at least once in their lifetime, right? But for the few people that haven't seen it, here's a quick little summary for you. This movie follows a girl named Olive. She lies to her friend about losing her virginity, and that lie is spread across their high school in a very crazy like telephone game kind of way, and suddenly she becomes the new school slut. Essentially, this movie is loosely based off the Scarlet Letter, and that book is also heavily mentioned in the movie as well. And speaking of the book, speaking of the Scarlet Letter, I do have a fun little story to tell about that. Sophomore year of high school English class, to set the stage, set the scene for you. Sophomore year of high school English class, my English teacher was like, hey, instead of reading the Scarlet Letter, guys, we're just gonna watch Easy A. And we watched Easy A instead of reading the Scarlet Letter. At that point, I definitely had already seen it. Like, that was 2016. I had definitely seen Easy A multiple times probably. So one may say I was very well versed with the Scarlet Letter before even having to fake read it in high school, sophomore year, to set the scene once again. The first thing I need to say about this movie is that we need to bring back movies like these. We need to bring them back quickly, exponentially, expeditiously. We need to bring back movies like these, and by that I mean movies that are like loosely or like fully based on or just like a modern retelling of like books or plays. Clueless, She's the Man, 10 Things I Hate About You. Like, we need to bring those types of movies back. Bring back the modern retelling of old-timey classics, please. Come on. Are we doing that? I don't know. Last time I checked, we're book to movie adapting Colleen Hoover novels. That's where we're at in society currently. Woo! Woo! Anyway though, one of the main things that I noticed during this rewatch I did for this video of this movie is that the soundtrack in this is absolutely killer. All the songs hit at the perfect times, all the songs like match the vibe of the scene, and all the songs are like such fun early 2000s type songs too. It's not like a score, it's full-blown songs, and I love it. They hit at the perfect times. They were perfect. Soundtrack killer. I was shazamming a lot during this movie, and maybe that is the most lamest thing I could ever say, but sue me, sue me, sue me. I like knowing names of songs. I will be using Shazam, obviously. How else am I gonna know the name of it? How else am I gonna find out the name of the song? I have to use Shazam, duh. Maybe that is a lame thing to say, but I don't care. Sue me, once again, sue me. So now going really into the movie, like different plot points and like blah, 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 specifics, whatever. First up, the Nicest Girl Ever award goes to Miss Olive freaking Pendergast, man. Literally, she is the nicest girl ever, the nicest girl ever, the nicest girl ever. Watching this for the millionth time is me finally realizing that. I don't know why maybe it did click, but it just never like stuck in my brain. But this time it was like really like clicking in here. I'm like, she's the nicest girl ever. It's actually insane. Essentially, there's a plot point in the movie, kind of one of the main plot points in the movie actually, where this kid named Brandon, who's gay but he's not out yet, but like people suspect he's gay, so like he gets bullied for that. He goes to Olive, and this is like after the rumors like already spreading about her being the school slut, whatever. He goes to Olive and he's like, hey, I'm gay but I don't want anybody to know, could you like pretend to be my beard? And she's like, you know what, yeah, like we'll pretend to have sex, everybody will like hear about it and nobody will think you're gay, you'll look cool, whatever. And that ends up working out. He stops being bullied and like he's cool or whatever, and suddenly all the nerd boys are coming to her and like being like, hey, can we pretend to like do something, like can I tell that to the school so that, you know, I stop being bullied or I stop looking like a nerd or whatever. And she's so nice that she says yes to help like all these nerdy people look cool or whatever, and it's actually insane. Like her reputation is being tarnished to the ground, meanwhile all these boys are like getting built up because like, oh my god, you got to sleep with her, you got to like make out with her, like do this that with her, like that's crazy. Meanwhile her reputation is getting tarnished to the ground, and she's doing it because she's a nice person. Once again, Nicest Girl Ever award goes to Olive freaking Pendergast. And there's also this other plot point that's really hard to explain, so I'm not gonna do it too much, but she basically pretends to have chlamydia so that the guidance counselor doesn't get found out for having an affair. She's so nice. It's really insane. And if you haven't seen the movie, that's a really crazy thing to hear. Like out of context, hearing that plot point's really insane. And you should just go watch this movie if you haven't seen it. Anyway, I love Olive's parents in this, Mr. Stanley Tucci and Miss Lady from the Maze Runner, whose name I do not know, but whatever, doesn't even matter all that much. Her parents in this, they're not real, as in like they're super hee hee ha ha, very unserious, always making a funny joke, whatever, like they're the fun parents. But then there are moments where they become like grounded and real, and they're really like, hey, like is everything okay? Like are you good? You know, all this stuff going on at school, they don't know the extent of it, but they can tell like something's going on with her, so they're like, hey, like are you okay? And then at the end they become like really like grounded and real and like good parents, and like honestly throughout the whole thing they're good parents, but just like seeing like the fun hee hee ha ha jokey parents become like grounded and become like the serious and like, hey, we're always here for you, we'll always be there for you type parents, and just be like really sweet in that way. I love it. The duality of man, the duality of parenthood. Now we obviously have to talk about Miss Emily Stone and Mr. Penn Badgley or Padgley? Badgley, not Penn Badgley, imagine that. Penn Badgley. We need to talk about them. I love a movie that has super subtle romance moments in them. Like this movie is not a rom-com, but it basically ends as one, and it has like very subtle rom-com moments throughout like the whole thing pretty much, and I absolutely love that. The chemistry between Olive and Todd is so perfect to me, man. So perfect to me. It's perfectly awkward, but in a way that's just so high school that makes it so like awesome to me. And also, even though it's like awkward, they do still have that like jokey playful banter with each other. That is another thing that is so freaking awesome and amazing and perfect to me. I love it so much. Todd is like the perfect type of guy in a movie to me though. Like he barely has any lines, he's barely even there, but when he is there he makes a funny jokey haha, and he also is just genuinely a nice and good person. My favorite type of guy in a movie. Penn Badgley, Todd, I love you. And also, yeah, just him and Olive, the way they get together in the end, I love that so much too. And let's hopefully insert that scene here.
How did you know I love this song?
I guessed.
I see you've been watching my live webcast. It's still going on, you know.
Screw them, they've had enough of you. Figuratively speaking. I borrowed my neighbor's mower. I came right over.
That almost rhymed.
I know. I spent a minute on it.
I'll be right down.
Anyway, long story short, at the end of the day, Easy A, you will always be famous to me. You will always be famous to me, Easy A. And I definitely watched that movie at a point in my life where I probably should not have been watching that movie. Definitely watched it when I was like 9 or 10, maybe 11. Definitely too young to have been watching this movie. But that's okay, because I am who I am today because I watched this movie a bit too early in my childhood development. Yeah. Now we're moving into La La Land, baby, aka the movie that gave her her first Oscar. Let's talk about it. So the first thing to say is I do have a funny little story time anecdote, if you will, regarding La La Land. So basically, it was, I think this was also literally sophomore year of high school, yeah, 2016. This girl was having this birthday party. It was like a pajama type thing. I was randomly invited because I don't know. I didn't really know this girl. We weren't friends. I'll say that. We were not friends, but somehow I was invited to her birthday party. This like pajama type thing, but it wasn't a sleepover. It was just like a pajama themed party. We were there and then we watched La La Land. It was like a bunch of girlies on the couch watching La La Land. And that was during the time where I was against musicals. I was not a musical girl when I was in high school. I'm still like kind of barely a musical girl now. It really depends on like the type of musical. Like I could tap in and I could not. I don't know. It's a toss up. Like I'm not a musical girl, but I'm not a musical girl. You know what I mean? But that was the prime time of me not being a musical girl. So it was really a torturous experience for me watching that movie. But I don't think I hated it. It's just like watching a movie that you didn't decide to put on is like kind of a torturous experience. What did you say? Honestly, rewatching it for this video made me realize that I knew nothing about this movie and I forgot literally everything. That's my story time about watching La La Land for the first time in 2016. Here we are, basically 10 years later. Now let's get into it. This movie follows two dreamers in Los Angeles, California, Mia and Sebastian. She's an aspiring actress and he's a jazz pianist that wants to open up a jazz club. They start dating, but life happens, and that's all I'm gonna say because I don't want to say too much about this movie. Hey, so yeah, the first thing in this movie is in fact the best thing ever. It's chaotic in the best way possible, and I just love the camera work in this scene so freaking much. Like I love the way the camera like follows certain people and like highlights them, and then it comes out for like the final big dance sequence. Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so perfect. Perfect opener to a movie. Love the cinematography in that moment. Love the camera work. It's awesome to me. And honestly, that was not at all just like a one-off moment for like how good the cinematography was in that first scene. The cinematography throughout this entire movie is absolutely show-stopping incredible. And literally while I was watching the movie, maybe like 30 minutes in, I was like, okay, this is too good. I need to know, like, did the cinematography for this movie win accolades? Did it get its flowers that I already know it deserves? I'm only 30 minutes in this movie. Did it get that? Yes, it did. It did win Best Cinematography at the Oscars, deservedly so. And I have the name written down here in my notes, Linus Sandgren. Well deserved, sir. Very, very well deserved. Yeah. Yeah. The colors in this movie feel so vibrant and I loved it so much. And literally, as I was watching it, I thought of that one tweet that's like, stop trying to be influencers, we need more film colorists. And yes, that is still so true. And double yes, the film colorists in this movie absolutely killed. And that coupled with the cinematography, oh my gosh. Oh my freaking gosh. Absolutely gobsmackingly perfect. Wow. This movie is so gorgeous that it genuinely feels unreal, but it is real, and that makes it so awesome to me. And also, like, so, like, what's the word? Like, I can't believe it. That's not the word. This movie's just so beautiful. That's what I'm trying to get at. I don't know. My brain hurts. Also, I need to say that this movie feels like the epitome of cinema and, like, cinematic. It's over-dramatic, but in the best way possible. And I fully think that the reason why it feels over-dramatic in the best way possible and also, like, sweetly ridiculous is because of Emma and Ryan's performances in this, man. Like, they make it feel so good. They make the overdramatics feel good. They make the ridiculousness of this movie feel so good. They make it feel so magical. And obviously that's what this movie's going for. Like, it's supposed to feel magical. It's supposed to feel like dreamland, La La Land, hello. And I feel like if we didn't have Emma and Ryan like in their roles doing what they were doing, performing the way they're performing, it would have read weird. The whole movie would have read weird. It would have felt flat. And maybe that's putting a lot on these actors' backs. But like it just I don't know, like the performances really like carry a lot of like the script in a way and like how ridiculous and overdramatic the movie feels, but it's not in a bad way overdramatic. Like I said, it's not in a bad way ridiculous. It works so well. Like no one else could have done that Griffith observatory scene better than Emma and Ryan. And then also that whole like different ending scene at the end of the movie, like that is pure cinema and it works so perfectly. And it's fully because of Ryan and Emma. Like their performances in this ground the whole thing, but then it still feels magical without feeling like super outlandish and like kind of stupid. It works so well. They do it so well. And I feel like I'm explaining that bad or like not explaining it well enough, but just know their performances are so great. And I don't care that it probably doesn't make sense me saying that. I think we as a society need Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling to work together again. And actually, let me amend that statement. I don't think we need that. I know we need that as a society, man. We need them to work together again. Like, their beginning was Crazy Stupid Love, and honestly, their storyline and like their love story in that movie is the absolutely best thing about that movie, because other plot points in that movie are just like a little sus and like really weird, but them in that movie, absolutely perfect. But their ending cannot be La La Land, man. Their ending of working together cannot be La La Land, even though it would be a solid ending because this movie is so perfect and they work so well in it together. But still, like, us as a society, we need them to do more. We need them to do something else together. La La Land would be a solid ending because of how great of a movie it is, but give us more, Emma and Ryan, please. Their chemistry is just too perfect and they bounce off each other so well for that to be the last thing they ever work in together. That would be crazy. Oh my gosh, that would be so crazy. Anyway, back to the movie specifically. The ending is so past lives coded to me, and it hurts me. And it hurts me so bad. It's like they both got what they wanted. They both got to live out their dreams, and they both got to have their dream. But the only thing they didn't get was each other. Ouch! That hurt so bad. And then also the way the movie really sends it home with that whole like different ending scene where it's like, oh, this is what our lives would have been if we worked out, like a whole like dream sequence of like what their lives would have looked like together. Double ouch. I can't believe they did that. I can't believe Damien, Chazelle, however you say his name, the writer and director of this movie, made that happen, because that's actually like, that's torture. Watching that scene and knowing that they're not together is torture. Oh my gosh, it's actually crazy. And yes, I will admit that I did in fact cry at the actual like last moment in the movie, like when they're just like looking at each other, no words are said, but that look is saying 1,000 words, like the little nods of like, yeah, we both did it, we both got our dreams, but the one thing they didn't give each other, but the one thing they didn't give each other. But the one thing they didn't get was each other. That's what I was just saying right there. That probably was just sounded like gibberish. So much is said in that look that they share, man. And it hurts me bad. And it hurts me really bad. Yes. And it does. Yes. Yeah. Let's move on now. Now let me take a quick moment to talk about Emma's performance in this and talk about like her specifically. I will be honest and say that I was not completely gobsmacked by her acting in this. Not saying that it was bad. It just wasn't like the most like groundbreaking thing ever. You know, like her character in this is like fairly normal for the most part. There's nothing like really wild or crazy that she has to do with this character. However, I will say that remembering that in this movie, her performance is not just made up of her acting. Her performance is made up of her acting and singing and dancing, all of which she does flawlessly, triple threat. And once I remembered that, I'm like, okay, yeah, and it makes sense why she got the Oscar. And it fully makes sense why she got the Oscar. She deserved that Oscar. Acting, singing, dancing, like I said, triple threat. Like I said, she did it flawlessly. You obviously deserve it. Come on. Anyway, to wrap this La La Land talk about up in a pretty little bow, one, La La Land is just so beautiful. It's like one of the most beautiful movies ever, and it just feels so magical. 2, Emma Oscar deserved. 3, Ryan should have got his Oscar too. I'll say it. I'll be the one to say it. Ryan Gosling should have got an Oscar for his performance in this movie. But I did look it up, and Casey Affleck won for Manchester by the Sea that year, and yeah, that sadly does make sense to me. But I will say, Ryan, you should have got it. You should have freaking got it. You should have freaking had an upset, and you should have won it. Hi, let's quickly address the elephant in the room. It's the next day. I have on different clothes. It's the next day. As I was filming yesterday, it got to the point where I was like, I feel like I'm not saying words. It feels like nothing I'm saying is making sense. My brain is shutting down. I feel like I'm going insane. So I was like, you know what? Let's stop here, and let's pick up tomorrow. And now today's tomorrow. So let's just jump right back into where we were. Cool. British Emma Stone. I repeat, British Emma Stone. Woo! Fun fact, Cruella was my first movie seen in like a COVID / was kind of in the pandemic, kind of coming out of it type of world. May 2021. That's when I saw this movie. That's when it came out. Yeah, just wanted to mention that for some crazy little reason. So to keep the summary for this movie short and sweet, this movie is about the origin story of the fashion designer Cruella de Vil. In full transparency, and let me immediately preface, I personally really know nothing about Cruella de Vil. So whenever I watch this movie, I am taking everything that they're saying with me with fresh ears and fresh eyes and completely at face value. And I know at this point in time I should probably be like brushed up or like familiarize myself with the Dalmatian cinematic universe. However, sorry, it just took me a really long time to get here. Sue me. But after watching this movie, like rewatching it for this video, I finally decided to look up the Dalmatians movie and like read the plot and see what that's about. And then I finally was like, oh, so that's how this connects to that, that's how this relates to this, whatever. And I'm not gonna go into how like this new movie relates to some of the stuff from the OG movie, like what little things connect and whatnot and whatever. I'm not gonna go into the specifics of that because because I don't think anyone really cares to hear me talk about that. I'm gonna assume no. And also, it doesn't really even matter like what small little things relate from the OG movie to this movie, because what I do know is that this movie is purposely / was purposely trying to go like in a slightly different direction. According to Wikipedia, it's like an alternate origin story for Miss Cruella de Vil, so I can imagine that they keep shaking things up with whatever happens next in this series. And before we get into the next of it all, I first need to say that I absolutely love this origin story. I love it so much. I love seeing how my villains become villains, and in this case, the villainism, villainhood, the villainy, whatever you want to call it, was completely justified. Cruella rightfully became a villain, or rightfully became like sort of evil, whatever, because this woman, the Baroness Emma Thompson's character, literally killed her mother, literally killed Cruella's mother, and it did it in the most crazy, bonkers, most insane way possible. Like, if that happened to me, I of course too would go into revenge mode. Like, validly so she became a villain, validly so she started seeking revenge. I would too. Did you see the way she killed her mom? Like, that's crazy. Anyway, though, I absolutely adore Emma's performance in this. Let my girl get more villain, evil, villainy type roles. Honestly, like, the favorite, I can't fully remember if she was like a villain in that. Like, don't quote me on that. Maybe she was like the bad guy in that movie. I like kind of like vaguely remember the favorite at this point, so I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But like, maybe she was like kind of like a villain / bad guy in that movie. I don't know. But anyway, all that to say, give my girl more villainy roles. Give her more Cruella type roles, because she served down. Yes. Why did I do that point? Literally the monologue scene at the end where she's like at the fountain, like talking to her mom, like her mom's dead, but like that fountain was like kind of like their place, even though they never got to like experience that place together, but like close enough. She like wanted to experience that like fountain park with her mom, but they never got to do it. So like, she kind of like attached her mom to that park. So like when she goes to the park to have this like little monologue moment, she's talking to the fountain, but she's essentially talking to her mom because like she relates her mom to the fountain. Does that make sense? Probably not. But anyway, that monologue scene was literally the like it scene for me. It's the moment when she's fully coming to Cruella and accepting that that is who she is, and even though that lady, the Baroness Emma Thompson's character, is her real mom, Cruella knows she's better than her. She's better than the Baroness, and she's ready to freaking prove it. And it's great. It's a really great scene, and that is like the it scene. We love a monologue scene that becomes like, yes, and I see why you were cast, and I see why you got this role, and I see it completely. Even though like everything else she was doing in this movie, even before that scene, I'm like, and I get it, and I fully get it. Like her like slowly turning like evilly and like villainy, if you want to call it that, I saw it completely. Like, oh my gosh, her little evil laughs, her little evil smirks. Give my girl more evil villain roles. Like, she served. Yes, I believed it. I believe she was Cruella. I saw it. I saw the transformation. It was awesome. It was freaking awesome. Thank you. Now let's shift gears a bit so I can say that the music in this movie was also absolutely awesome. The 60s / 70s like rock, so perfect, and obviously makes sense for the time frame because the movie literally takes place during that time frame, like the 60s, 70s, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then also having rock in it makes sense too, because now let me talk about the costume design in this. Also great. And for a movie that is literally about fashion designers and about the fashion world, of course the costume design and fashion better freaking kill, and it killed, and I can confirm it in fact killed. The movie is set during the punk rock movement of the 70s, so it makes sense for most of the looks to lean that way, and also like I said, the music to lean that way. But also, even if it wasn't during that like time frame, the vibe of the looks are just so Cruella to me that even once the movement is over, I don't know if that's how fashion works, let's just pretend, I feel like that style is still just so her, and I can't imagine that ever really changing for her. So yeah, shout out Jenny Brevin, the costume designer on this movie, and she also won the Oscar for it. Literally kind of crazy to see that this movie was nominated for like the Oscar of costume design. I just thought, you know, like Disney film, like they'd brush it to the side or whatever, but no, she got her flowers, deservedly so. And now on to the $1 million question. Will we ever get a second movie? Will we ever get the sequel that we were promised back in 2021 when this movie freaking came out? I don't know. Personally, I don't know. I'm not in the room where things happen in the Disney headquarters. I'm personally not in that room, so I don't know when it's coming. I don't know if it's coming. I will personally happily live in the delusion that one day maybe we will actually get a sequel to this movie. That's me personally. That's what I'm gonna do with my time personally. How many times am I gonna say freaking personally, man? But yeah, I don't know if the second movie's coming. It was like, what's the word, like confirmed, but literally it was confirmed back in 2021, like a few months after the movie came out, and we've heard no rumbling since. So yeah, but like I said, all live in delusion that one day we will get it. Yeah. Emma Stone with black hair. I repeat, Emma Stone with black hair. Woo! And she's also kind of British again. Woo! Woo! Poor Things follows Bella Baxter as she discovers the world. She was brought back to life via a brain transplant with a baby, so even though she's in a grown woman's body, we see her grow and rapidly develop from infanthood, is that even a word? I don't know, and I don't really care at this point, to adulthood. First and foremost, the first thing I need to say is that it will forever make me so upset that Robbie freaking Ryan, the cinematographer on this movie, did not win cinematography for this movie at the Oscars, whatever year that was, 2023 Oscars, or I guess technically 2024 Oscars, because the movie came out in 2023, whatever, you get what I mean. It makes me upset. It makes me upset that he didn't win cinematography, man. And yes, I get that Oppenheimer was also a great movie, but nothing compares to the crazy, quirky, and weird, non-derogatory weird shots that we get in this freaking movie brought to you by Mr. Robbie Ryan. Like, there's genuinely no comparison to me. This movie should have won cinematography, and it will forever grind my gears that it didn't, man. This movie's also sort of like La La Land coded to me, and that the colors in this feel so like vibrant and awesome once we switch from black and white to color, obviously. But yeah, at the end of the day, Robbie Ryan, you were freaking robbed, sir. And I'm so sorry for that. I'm so sorry, and I'm so sorry. I am glad that production design got his flowers though, because the production design, like the set design in this, is so whimsy and awesome and just like, ugh, like pure perfection to me. Personally, I'll say it again, and I'll keep using that word because I just love it so much, apparently. The movie takes place during the Victorian era, but it truly just has its own distinct vibe, and that just aids in how cool and great this movie is. Production design, flowers deserved. Here's your applause, baby. Remember how I said that Emma and Ryan Gosling need to work together again? I also need to say that Emma and Mr. Mark Ruffalo need to work together again, because them in this movie, Bella and Duncan, so good, so perfect, so awesome. And I just say the same words. I literally am realizing I just say awesome and perfect all the same. But when something is awesome and perfect, it's like, what else am I gonna say? How else am I gonna describe it? But anyway, back to Mark Ruffalo. I really loved his performance in this. He was a freak of a man, and I do mean that derogatorily. I hated his character for obvious reasons, but I was laughing at almost all of his line deliveries, man.
You are hurting Bella.
Sorry. Reason does not penetrate. Let us go. Ow.
The way their characters like play off each other is so interesting to me, especially considering like how different their characters' vibes are. Like, Bella's very blunt and to the point, and Duncan's so obviously trying to be like suave and like seductive in a way, while also having like the classic like high class English London mannerisms and like vibes, and like he's just overall a man that's through and through an asshole. And I just love seeing scenes of them together because of that, because of how different their characters are. Seeing scenes of them together just works so perfectly, so funny. Yeah, and now I simply must mention that Lad Bible Agree to Disagree video that Emma and Mark did, like during like the press tour of this movie or whatever. I love it. I love the video so much.
But real talk, what is the best Shrek film?
The first one. Jinx. Oh, you owe me a Coke. Double Jinx. Triple Jinx. You owe me 3 Cokes. Fuck.
Emma winning Best Actress for this movie is one of the most deserved Best Actress wins of recent times. And by recent times, I mean when I decided to like finally tap into like watching the Oscars, like really getting into it, and that was around like 2018-ish. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, one of the most deserved Best Actress Oscar wins of recent times, baby. Like, I can't even form words, honestly. I specifically want to talk about a quote from this Vogue article she did where she like discusses the character and how she appreciates Bella's lack of shame, and I'm just gonna read that quote like right off right here. Even though Bella has obviously been through trauma in her life, it just isn't there for her now. She was the most joyous character in the world to play because she has no shame about anything. She's new, you know? I've never had to build a character before that didn't have things that had happened to them or had been put on them by society through their lives. It was an extremely freeing experience to be her. I want to be as free as Bella freaking Baxter, man. I want to be as free as her. Also, cat cam now, he's cleaning up back there. All right, we'll just do that. Let me censor him because I want to protect his privacy. Anyway though, back to Bella. I love how we see her grow and develop and experience life, the good and the bad, and we also see her quite literally take no bullshit from anyone and speak her mind at all times. Like, it's honestly quite inspiring to see. One may say quite inspiring to see, one may say I was inspired by Miss Bella freaking Baxter. And yeah, Emma Stone played her goddamn perfectly. No one else could have done it. No one else could have freaking done it. And I stand on that, and I'll die on that hill. Literally all these movies I just talked about over the past 2 days, because this took 2 days to film, nobody else could have played those roles that she was in, quite literally. Maybe that's the Emma Stone, I like you a lot, you're one of my favorite actresses bias coming into play, but I don't care. I'm gonna stand on that hill. Thank you very much. And yes, that's the end of this video. We revisited the highlights of Emma Stone's filmography, and I know, like I said, I didn't talk about Zombieland in this video. There's also some other movies that like are big for her that I didn't talk about in this video either, and it makes me kind of want to do a part 2 because I'm thinking like, ooh, I could watch Zombieland, I could also watch The Favorite, I could also watch Birdman, which I recently found out that she's in Birdman, and she was nominated for Best Supporting Actress for her work in Birdman, and I've only like vaguely seen Birdman. I don't remember anything about the movie, so that could be kind of cool to rewatch, and maybe like I could throw in a couple other things. I don't know. Maybe part 2 is warranted. Who knows? Let me know if you want a part 2 to this. Hand movements going crazy. But yeah, that's that. I can't wait to see Bugonia. I'm really excited to see Bugonia. I have avoided all things and hearing things about it because I don't want like outside information to like bias me, if that makes sense. I don't think that's the word, not bias, but like sway me or make me think a certain way about it before even going into the movie. So I've avoided clips, I've avoided trailers, I've avoided like just people talking about it. I want to hear nothing until I freaking watch that movie and form my own opinions. I don't want other people's opinions to shape my opinions. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. This is the outro. Let me short and sweet and wrap this up. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye now.